Oh, hey, it's Brian Altano and Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. And Xbox announced today that they are doing some significant price hikes on all of their console hardware, as well as their peripherals and first party software. Okay, well, this sucks, but before we break into that and why this is bad for the future of console gaming, let's break down the actual news itself. So, Ryan, the Series S 512 gigabyte will be going to $379.99. That's up from $299. Series S 1 terabyte, $429. That's up from $349.99. Series X Digital, $549.99, up from $449.99. And the Series X with a disk drive will be $599, up from $499.99. And the Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Special Edition with the little stars on it will be $729.99. So additionally, all of their controllers are getting price hikes along with their headsets. So even if you don't play games on Xbox consoles, but you like buying their controllers for PC gaming, it's going to be hard to avoid this price hike. Just immediate thoughts from you as somebody who's been covering Xbox and IGN for as long as I've known you.
Well, number one, the days of this isn't just Microsoft. This is clearly everybody now in terms of the days of consoles getting cheaper over the course of the generation. They're over, and they're never coming back. The Switch never got a price cut, as we are on the eve of the Switch 2's launch. The PlayStation 5 has only gone up in most territories, and I fully expect the US to follow soon here now that Microsoft has. That is actually why my PS5 is normally right there on top of my entertainment center. It is gone because I've packed it up, and as soon as we finish shooting this, I'm trading it in at GameStop for the PS5 Pro that I promised myself I was going to buy specifically for GTA 6 because I want the best GTA 6 experience I can get on day one. And there is just no doubt in my mind that Sony's going to increase prices soon as well. So I want to act now while the PS5 Pro is $700 before it goes to probably $800. We're in a weird new era. It's not just about tariffs, although that seems to be accelerating everything. And I know that gets political and people instantly get fired up about that one way or the other. But the bottom line is console gaming is getting more and more expensive. Microsoft clearly is not willing to sell their Xbox consoles at a loss, pardon me, in order to try and get more out there and move more software which does track with their strategy of everything's an Xbox. We're just going to put our games on everything. So they're basically saying, well, if you want to play on our machines, cool, but it's going to cost you. And I can't believe, Brian, that the $599 US that the PS3 made famous is now applicable to the half-decade-old Xbox Series X. It's insanity, my friend.
It's nuts. So yeah, let's go through this real quick. So like you said, for generations, consoles got price drops. That was always the deal, right? You got there early on. If you were an early adopter, launch day, you had a limited selection of games to play, maybe some really great first day games, some launch games, right? Some of the greatest games of all time launched on day one. Stuff like Super Mario 64,
Halo.
Breath of the Wild, Halo. So the deal was over time, the library got bigger, but also the price got smaller. And so did the system sometimes, right? It got slim redesigns.
True.
With the Switch, we never really saw that. We did see the Switch Lite, which, chopped off the entire purpose of what the naming convention of the console is, since it doesn't actually switch. But that was the deal forever. And when that happened for so long, what came with it was millions and millions of new people coming into a console's ecosystem for the first time. Guys like you and me have been buying consoles on launch day for our whole lives. We'll always do that, right? But the success of a system, when a system goes on to become the best-selling or second best-selling or third best-selling system of all time, it's because eventually it got a software lineup that was, affordable and large and deep, and it got significant price cuts where people could come to the table. We saw two things happen this generation. One, that's not happening anymore in terms of software price cuts. But two, a few weeks ago, Nintendo, who was late to the party on getting to $70 games, they did it with Tears of the Kingdom, this is years after everyone else had already done that, decided, hey, we're launching our first $80 game. And today, Microsoft said, hey, if they can sell Mario Kart for $80, then why can't we sell Call of Duty for $80 or any other first party games? And so I think now, like, that the $70 game era is pretty much over, right? For the most part. I think we are now moving into an $80 territory. So we're seeing software go up, we're seeing hardware go up or stay the same in price throughout the entire generation. And I'm genuinely starting to get worried about what this means for the long tail of this hobby. I think that there are so many ways to approach console gaming right now as understanding that it is a place where you can play, amazing exclusives without any of the sort of the kickback or the annoyances that come with, sort of fiddling with all the things you need to do to make a PC game run for the average consumer. Some people just don't want to do that, right? But at the same time, pricing the average consumer out of that experience while simultaneously putting a lot of those first-party exclusive games everywhere, not including things like Mario Kart, is going to push people into playing games elsewhere for good. And I think that you, in the long term, are going to lose the console market as a whole. I think the console experience will go away. It'll become sort of a niche thing. And I think that people are just not going to have nostalgia for it in 10, 15, 20 years like they do now.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen the console market peak. Like, Microsoft has talked about this. It's a big reason for their strategy. I mean, a big reason. Another big reason is they can't convince anybody with their lineup to buy an Xbox console to play those games. Thankfully, that's getting better, although now they've, of course, kind of walked away from that and are just putting their games on everything, which I think could actually prove out to be a winning strategy in time. But yeah, the console market, as Microsoft has noted in the recent past, it's peaked. Like, it is not growing because more and more players are playing games on phones, and PC gaming is growing. I just had a new PC built myself because, I mean, partially it's because I'm lucky enough to do this for a living, and so I can justify it that way. But also, it's a great way to get the best experience, best version of just about everything that's not made by Nintendo now. But yeah, it's the market is changing and evolving. I mean, but it is fair to look at the demographic, the younger generation of players too, where they don't have the tribalism that you and I grew up with the Sega Nintendo battles on the playground. They just want to play whatever the game is, Fortnite or what have you, Minecraft, on whatever device is most convenient to them, whether that's a PC that they happen to be sitting at, an iPad that they're on the couch with, the phone, a console, whatever it is. I mean, Minecraft was still, for the month of March, this data just came out this week, Minecraft was the number, I believe, 12 selling game in the month of March, even though it's already the best-selling game of all time. But that's across all platforms. If that game were locked to Xbox, it would certainly not be selling what it's selling. But yeah, you're absolutely right, though, is if the prices on gaming keep going up, like, I know a lot of people want to point to these and say, well, we pay $1,000 for these every 2 or 3 years. Some people do it every year, but I would counter that with smartphones are, in a first world way, a borderline necessity. Like, you can really justify it. Like, well, I do my banking on here and my social media and my messaging and my email and this and that and my gaming. But a console, a video game, is pretty hard to justify as essential. It is for you and I in our jobs, and we're very lucky in that way. But it's still, for 99.9% of people, gaming, and specifically console gaming, is a hobby. It is not something that is just a must. Now, you and I have seen, we've been around long enough that we've seen recessions come and go, and gaming has historically been pretty recession-proof. Yeah. But these changes we're seeing now, with these prices going up, not just with Microsoft, but as you mentioned, Nintendo and probably Sony following suit here in the US, is gaming going to continue to be recession-proof? Because if the answer switches from the historical yes to no, as you noted, that's really, really problematic for the long-term future of gaming.
Yeah, so I completely agree. I don't think this means the death of gaming as we know it. I think that it means that the death of traditional console gaming as we know it could be closer than we want it to be. And I think that's in the pursuit of short-term gains. I think that a company like Microsoft right now could weather the storm a little bit better and take some of their war chest and maybe not sell $730 consoles that they're also telling you you don't really need to buy, because that's sort of a slap in the face of the few hardcore people who are still like, I'm excited for the next Xbox, I'm going to buy the next console. We know they're making more hardware in the future. We know that from, official statements and leaks and et cetera. But I do think that in the short term, if you're, like you said, somebody with a phone or a PC, it's pretty easy to convince your phone or your PC to act like a console. But you can't really make your console act like a phone or a PC. Those are walled gardens. Those are places where historically you go to play exclusive games. Companies now have realized that it's too expensive to make games for one platform. Again, outside of Nintendo, they're the ones that sort of like, they're the weird elephant in the room right now. But they've decided, PlayStation's doing this, Xbox is doing this. We're going to put our games on PC. Xbox is also putting their games on PlayStation to, incredible success. They had some of the best-selling games last month on PS5, which is just nuts to think about. Like, for people like us who've been doing this for a long time, to pause and go, hey, look at the top of the charts on PlayStation, outside of the, games as a service games people play every day. It's like a bunch of Xbox stuff. And so, yeah, it all makes sense for them. But in terms of the box that you buy that play video games that you put underneath your TV, I think that if we keep going down this path of making it so it's less and less accessible financially for the average person to come in and play, for the average kid to save up for the average,
the Madden player, the Grand Theft Auto player,
all those people, right? I think that eventually you'll move away from that. And, we could be wrong. The Nintendo Switch, I tried to pre-order one. I was right there with you. That was a pain in the butt. Seems like it's going to be a hit. Seems like it's going to sell really well. Will it hit the same numbers as Switch 1? I don't think so.
Unlikely.
Will the PS6 hit the same numbers as the PS5? Who knows? Remains to be seen. But I do think that, like, watching prices of consoles go up and up and up over time is unprecedented. Watching games go up, $10, $20 in just a few years, if you're a Nintendo fan, is unprecedented. I think that, like, almost certainly we're going to see a $70 or $80 Call of Duty this fall. We're going to see at least an $80 GTA. That conversation.
Take it to the bank. $99.99. Yeah. Let's just say it now, because it's. I'm not trying to will it into existence, but it's.
It's just why
not,
right?
Of course,
Everyone's playing chicken to see how close they can get, and as long as these things keep selling well and they keep doing well enough, then they're just going to keep pushing it. And so, I think all of that is it's going to make numerous profits for a lot of great, powerful CEOs and shareholders in the short term. But I think in the long term, not having generations and generations of people growing up with consoles and having the nostalgia that comes with them is going to change the face of gaming forever. People will still find ways to play games. They always will, and video games will always be awesome. But I think that console gaming as we know it is beginning to change for the worse, possibly forever.
And not only that, it's not only you're talking about the players, which you and I are, we don't make games, but when I think about the people that make games, it's been brutal in the industry with layoffs, in studio closures the last few years here. And it would be one thing if I felt confident that $80 games were going to mean that studios were going to stay healthy, and if they sold just okay on their game, that they were still going to have a job the next month. But very cynically, in this age of 8-figure executive pay and a continued and unending thirst from shareholders for more profits, I have absolutely no faith that $80 game prices, increasing game prices, is going to translate to more stability for the artists that make these amazing games. I just feel like it's all going to go into executives' pockets and into shareholders' share value. And it's just, I know that's like a cynical old man take here, and I should probably be more optimistic, but we live in cynical times, and I want this industry to be around.
Under the umbrella of capitalism, you're 100% correct. Like, I don't really think that, like, the average person watching this video who loves video games, they're going to begrudgingly go to the store and be like, well, I can't not play GTA 6, or I need that new Call of Duty or Mario Kart. And I don't think that money is going to instantly translate to safety nets for the people making games. So I think you're 100% correct there.
And not to mention,
it'll make some new yachts.
Yeah, and not to mention that groceries are going up, every other things, those other necessities. Like I said, whether you want to classify a smartphone as a necessity or not, but other necessities are going up. It is making it difficult to continue the hobby and this passion that we have for console gaming. And I don't know where we go, Brian. Like, I want your daughter and my daughter both are avid gamers, and I just hope that the industry is alive and well and thriving when our daughters are our age.
Yeah, and they have kids of their own, and they have nostalgia for things that isn't just like Fortnite Season 3 Part 2 or whatever, No disrespect to Fortnite or anything like that, but I think that I like the idea of console gaming. I like the idea of console games, and I hope that they live on forever. That said, I hope people just find a way to keep playing video games, and people will. This is what Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft will find out, I think, the hard way, that, if the console thing goes away for good, people are still going to find ways to play games. Maybe Microsoft will be there being like, aha, we caught you over here with Game Pass. We created a problem and then created a solution for our own problem, right? And, PlayStation will be like, well, you didn't buy a PS6? Don't worry, Helldivers 2 or 3 or 4 is on PC, and so is, Spider-Man 10 or whatever. And Nintendo will be like, we're still over here with Mario Kart. Will you buy us? And then, I guess some parents will. But yeah, man, it remains to be seen. I'm worried about the long term of things. I think that right now we keep reading these stories about prices going up in console gaming, and it feels crazy to me because it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Game Pass, because you're right. It's like it's a solution to a problem that they created, but I have to just again cynically point out to you, my friend, that who's to say that Game Pass prices won't keep going up too? So
that's exactly
it's like,
it.
where does it end?
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm taking crazy pills in that we just successfully pre-ordered our Switch 2s last week, and I almost feel like I won, in the sense of I probably got it for the cheapest that the Switch 2 might ever be. So it's crazy that getting a day one pre-order now is almost like a sound investment versus like what you were mentioning earlier of kind of being that early adopter and being the cool kid amongst your friend group.
It was supposed to be the scalpers are the ones that are supposed to be ripping us off, not the suppliers. What happened? Anyway, that's the news for today and some of our thoughts on it. I hope they didn't get too cynical, but I hope if you're watching this video, you're probably not jumping for joy that everyone's prices are going up, because it sucks and we're all feeling it. But for all things video games, and not just the overpriced expensive ones, but the good ones and the cheap ones and the fun ones, and hopefully the price dropped ones eventually, and the smaller ones that work better, things like that, the redesigns. Stick with IGN. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me. Go check out Ryan on his weekly show, Podcast Unlocked, where you can hear him talk all things Xbox, and you can catch me on Beyond and NVC, where I talk PlayStation and Nintendo, where things are just getting more expensive everywhere. Thanks for rocking with us here at IGN.